This presentation will be broken down into three parts. First, introduction, analyzing the subject on the piece of artwork, followed by its original location in comparison to it being in a contemporary place. We then analyze the philosophy behind its aesthetics and construction of this piece. A lintel typically depicts a scene, in this case with Yama embellished with a crown. Mounted above his vahana, his buffalo symbolizes punishment of crudity. It reflects him on the move, greeting and bringing mortals to his abode as he carries a mace in his right arm, an act of seizing those meeting death. A noose symbolizes sundering one's soul from the mortal coil. Kala is another form of Yama's epithets, translated as time. In Khmer culture, Kala's role can be perceived as Rahu, linking to cremation rites while looking into the new life. Rahu is the demon of eclipse, which transforms darkness into light. The Simha lion suggests masculinity while expelling two floral garlands. The panel incorporates aulic symmetry with Yama as the central figure versus the two figures on the edges of the lintel, which are his servants, also known as kinkaras. Kinkaras, slightly shallow in relief, aren't easily identifiable, suggesting the lack of importance they carry. The chief Kinkaras, Chitragupta, keeps a record of the deeds of men in its Agra Sandani, or a register, and brings down the souls to different regions as judged by Yama. Hence, they are important in executing Yama's duties, while not overshadowing Yama's power. Now let's travel 20 kilometers northeast of Angkor Thor. It's Cambodia's Khmer Empire. With the presence of King Yashovarman I in Angkor, massive access to labor and wealth created a chance for rulers to elevate themselves, the city, and most importantly the divine. You will find Bantiye Sri, also known as the Woman's Citadel. Decorative horizontal rectangular piece of beam is composed on an upper framework segment of a doorway supported by two similarly decorated colonnades. It provides a privileged position over the south-facing entryway, observing devotees who cross the threshold, transporting themselves from the secular to the divine realms. Devotees spiritually connect to Yama beyond physical distance. This serves as a reminder of the ultimate reality that our bodies are transitory and souls will be departed by Yama. The way the lintel is placed in the museum, above the average human height, attempts to replicate the position of its original setting. However, museum goers are rather rooted to a specific spot when looking at it, lacking the experience of a worshipper. B.P. Grosslier mentioned that surfaces stripped of decoration indicated a stoppage of work, which was opposite of how the Khmer culture judged beauty. It was through a great quantity of decorative elements covering it. The harmony of artistic composition of repetitive fleuron forming the lintel and the fineness of carving suggests facture. Just as the two-headed lions gets built, the curvature replicates the Vaitarani River, a road that flows between Yama's spiritual realm and the earth. It is a river meant to test the ability of souls who can cross it to ensure rebirth as a human being. Its repetitive use of curvatures in polylobed fleuron reminds devotees its connection to nature, while symbolically returning souls to the earth's origins and into Yama's kingdom as they leave this world. The lintel is made from red quartz arenite sandstone, an expensive material than brick, hence it only gradually came to use, obtained from the Kulin Mountains. The material itself has pushed the artist to carve in reduced scale of composition and proximity of buildings more than in volume. The peculiarity of motif combinations and parallel distribution of artistic work reinforces a specific style of one craftsman. He would have been part of a specialized group whose role was to make temples who attend royal court as consultants. At any given time, two craftsmen, a tracer and a chief sculptor, would exchange technical abilities through standardized training through a master and apprentice relationship. There probably was a division of labor in handling Yama's features, his two attendants, Kala and Simha, as well as the repeated foliage. One person would work on the sandstone at a time, as handling a piece of mallet limits the space of two people working together, due to their proximity to each other. The emphasis on symmetry, having identical repetitive ornamentation on both left and right side of Yama, would have required a series of careful steps. First, one would create light carvings of details to indicate shallow engraving before using a drill to precisely break and discard accurate localized elements to create deep incisions. These surfaces would be most visible to temple visitors, hence had to be done by most accomplished anonymous artists who can produce sophisticated works in situ after having fixed in its spot.